And today, just for Gilbert, we're going to show everyone how to make a perfect loaf of bread. This is my Panasonic SD YD 250. There it is. Anyway, but this recipe works for any bread maker. So Black & Decker, Breadman, there's others. But anyway, I'm going to make it in the Panasonic, but if you follow this recipe, I guarantee you'll get a perfect loaf every time. I don't think I've ever had a bad one. So, we'll start with the ingredients. First off, 1 teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt. Next, 1 tablespoon of sugar. I just use your standard old white sugar. You can use maple syrup, brown sugar. The white sugar works just as well as any. It's just something to feed the yeast. There it goes. 3 slightly rounded cups of flour. When I say slightly rounded, about that much. A little less would work. But anyway, 1. 2. 3. And 1 tablespoon of vegetable or canola oil or olive oil, and that goes in. Now, if you're using something other than the SD-YD 250 Panasonic or any other make that doesn't have a yeast dispenser, you may want to put the wet ingredients in first, because this machine has a yeast dispenser here on top where you put the yeast in and it automatically dispenses when the time comes. So if you don't have that, put the wet ingredients in first, then your flour, and then make your pocket in the top for the yeast as you would in the normal process. But so just remember, so anyway, that was just 3 rounded cups of, and that's basically, that's just your all-purpose flour, nothing special. No, I don't use bread maker flour. I assume it will work with a whole grain, but I use white. So anyway, we'll carry on with the next step. Okay, the last step is 1 2/3 exactly cups of tepid water. Not cold, not hot, room temperature, if you can do it. Unless you're going to use the timer option where it's going to sit, then of course it doesn't really matter. You can do cold, but room temperature is good. Okay, and again, I repeat, if you don't have an SD-YD or similar bread maker that will dispense the yeast, your wet ingredients will want to go in first, then your dry ingredients. And last but not least, the yeast. I use 1 and about a half of Fleischmann's made for bread maker yeast. I'll show you a picture of that. Looks just like that. So it's the bread machine yeast. And the only reason I use it is because it's a finer grain, and it just seems to work a little bit better. Regular yeast will work, but I just find this works well every time. Okay, now if you have this machine, you want to select bake bread, or bake sandwich. Bake sandwich, easy for you to say. That's what's going on here. You can see it flashing. Now whatever other bread maker you have, if you have a sandwich loaf selection, that's the one to use. Press start, and we're ready to go. That's a 4-hour cycle on this one. Or like I said, you could set the timer, but if you just want to do straight bread, pick the sandwich option and just let it go. And you'll get a beautiful loaf of bread. So we'll come back in 4 hours, haul it out, and we'll have a look. Stay tuned. Alrighty, we're back, and bread is almost done. I see the timer's down to 1 minute. So it'll be a little less because I actually waited for it to roll over before I started the camera. So we'll get the bird's eye view here. So again, this works with any bread maker, not just the Panasonic SD-YD 250, which is this model is. Black & Decker, Breadman. There's any number of other makes, and this recipe works well with all of them. Oh, there we go. It says we're ready. Let's look. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm just going to lift the handle up here with something other than my fingers because it gets very, very hot. Get it balanced. Get my mitt out here. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. So, I got a rack here. So, let me just pop this out. And there you have it. Perfect loaf of bread. Look at that. Beautiful. Warm, smells great. Yep. Nice crust. Yet. I usually give these about an hour and a half to sit in the rack like this. I put them in a bread or an old milk bag that the 4-liter milk comes in. Just keep the tie, recycles the bag, and works great. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is especially for Gilbert because I know he's got a bread maker, and I know I've given him this recipe, so now it's his turn to put one of these on YouTube. Have a great day. And just one last thing here before I go. I just noticed when I was editing this that everybody was probably looking at this thinking, oh my gosh, look at this scungy old bread maker. It's disgusting, it's filthy. No, actually it's not. What it is it's about 7 years old, and it's been cranking out probably minimum 3 loaves a week for every week for the last 7 years. So what you see here is just good old wear and tear. No, this stuff does not rub off, does not come off. It's just baked on flour stuff from just many hundreds of loaves. I couldn't even count how many have gone through this thing. It's just been an excellent bread maker. So I just thought I'd bring that up because I know it does look a bit scungy, but really it's just the paint's burnt and just a lot of wear and tear. Well loved, let's call it that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.